Hello everyone, my name is Kevin and today I am going to talk about my presentation about video games. I will give the reasons as to how video games affect people's happiness. I want to start by giving a little context on what video games are. Video games are defined by Merriam-Webster as an electronic game in which players control images on a video screen. With modern technology, people can now play online with others in the same game. Quite a few of them have voice connection to chat with other players. People use video games to have fun during their free time. So I would like to show you all in this presentation that video games can actually affect our happiness depending on who we encounter and how we use it. There are many benefits to playing video games, but they can also bring several drawbacks and dangers. I'll start by talking about the positive aspects of playing online video games. So, in order to understand better how video games affect our happiness, I need to explain what determines our happiness. Adam Fiore is an award-winning journalist, and he wrote an article titled "What Technology Can't Change About Happiness." According to him, relationships are the single most important thing in determining human happiness. Now that we know that relationships are what determines our happiness, we can see how video games affect our happiness. Video games can create new relationships with others online as well as strengthen current relationships. I'll explain how video games can create new relationships first. So, players play online video games that they like. Say they like to play first-person shooters or racing games or role-playing games. They choose to play the type of games they enjoy. When they play their favorite game online, they get to meet other people all over the world. These people tend to have similar interests with each other since they play the same game. They can engage in voice chat and start a conversation. This way, they start creating new relationships online. They can start arranging meeting times to play together and even add each other on social media. Each step, they create a closer bond and a more intimate and legitimate relationship. They eventually start conversations outside of the game, thus learning more about each other. Once they start talking about other topics, they get to start sharing their experiences and learning from each other, thus creating a long-lasting real friendship. As I said before, video games can deepen current relationships. Friends from school, neighbors, or even family members can arrange playtime together. By doing this, they can plan in-game strategies, making them communicate their ideas and have fun together. Amanda Lenhart is a senior research specialist at the Pew Internet and American Life Project. In one of her researches, she discovers that most boys play games with voice connection. This shows that boys play with voice connection, thus they communicate with others in-game. This will lead to boys having conversations with others, most probably known people, thus strengthening their current relationships. However, despite the benefits of video games, there are also negative effects of video games on happiness. They can create relationships with bad influence online because you never know who it is on the other side of the screen. They might be murderers, terrorists, rapists, bullies, racists, and so on. They can also develop negative relationships with others, which can lead to cyberbullying. I'll start by talking about bad influence. So, players play online and meet all sorts of people from all sorts of backgrounds. They get to meet strangers. These strangers can have negative influence on the players. These people can get close to the players and create a relationship. Then they start influencing players to start doing illegal and dangerous activities. They can say to the players that they could do drugs to enhance the quality time and can persuade them into doing it. They could say that they do drugs all the time and that they are fine. Players can easily fall into it because these bad people have created a bond with these innocent players through the game. Joe Hatfield from Brigham Young University stated that Statistical analysis also revealed that the more young adults play video games, the more frequent their involvement in risky behaviors like drinking and drug abuse. Young adults who played video games daily reported smoking pot almost twice as often as occasional players, and 3 times as often as those who never played. These are probably due to negative influences they encounter. People who don't play video games and don't get to meet negative influence, or they are less likely to encounter them because they are always with friends and known people. In addition to bad influence, players can fall into cyberbullying. People can meet wrong people, like I talked before. Specifically, these players can meet cyberbullies. Cyberbullies can hurt others' feelings by trash-talking them at first and eventually leading to negative and harmful relationships through in-game cyberbullying. So, what exactly is cyberbullying? Merriam-Webster defines cyberbullying as the electronic posting of mean-spirited messages about a person, such as a student, often done anonymously. In video games, people are at risk of encountering cyberbullying. First, the bullies get to know the victims. They get the players' information by finding them on social media. Then they can start harassing them, trash-talking them, and offending them both in-game and outside through social media. So, what are the consequences? People can trash-talk others without even knowing each other. Then, cyberbullies can make players feel less important, thus leading to depression and sadness. The worst-case scenario for the victims are suicide. Yes, who would have thought that video games can lead to someone committing suicide? So, people should be aware of the dangers of video games. If someone sees that their relatives or friends are struggling or are depressed that are caused by video games, they should consider their mental health and try to help them overcome their struggles with cyberbullying. I want to conclude my presentation by saying that video games can contribute to a person's happiness and sadness, depending on who the players meet while they are playing online. They can become happier if they meet other innocent, good people, meet others with similar interests, and can strengthen their current relationship with friends. They can become depressed or less happy if they meet bad influence or encounter cyberbullying. Lastly, I would like to thank all of you for your time and patience. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Thank you all.